Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. The Premier League season is finally over and Manchester City are the champions. Yes, they are the Premier League champions 4 times in a row. They've done the four-peat. Yeah, gosh, shakes his head in disgust as an avid Man United fan. He's not happy with that. But no. It's the way it went. And for many rival fans to Arsenal out there, they are happy. Are you happy with yourselves? You got what you wanted. Man City are champions. Deja vu. Groundhog Day. They've done it again. Garth, how's it feel to lose that historical title of the only team that's done it 3 times in a row? Well, not the only team. Well,
yeah, I think so. We lost that last year. Yeah.
And it's been beaten by Manchester City, your noisy neighbours. How's it feel?
Yeah. You know what? I'm pleased Kev ain't here because that means I can speak whack about Man City without upsetting him. You know what I mean? This is what I've always said, and people can think it's I mean, there is a bit of Man United bias and hatred there, but they'll always have the caveat across. Until these charges are set up and they get proven innocent, there's always going to be that caveat. So I've always got that to cling on. But listen, amazing achievement. Pep Guardiola, I think. It pains me to say, I think he is the greatest Premier League manager now. I don't think it's in question. I think he's surpassed Fergie. I could argue Fergie's case, but if I'm being dead serious about it, I think Pep's probably got the best shout for it now, especially with the treble under his belt and everything. Mm-hmm. Man City, they're indomitable. Like I said yesterday, you know, I mean, the moment the title charge was on, didn't drop a point, didn't drop a game. Well, they look. Worst thing is they look so comfortable doing it as well. Like obviously they drew with you boys, but
yeah, I know. But it was that you was hoping along the way that points would be dropped, but it just didn't happen. It didn't come, which was to the pain of many Arsenal fans out there.
Yeah, and to the rest of us, I think there's a lot of people that dislike Arsenal fans. I don't so much think they dislike Arsenal, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them. I think even myself at the end, like I said to you, I wasn't being facetious. I wanted Arsenal to win the title. We need something different. Like, I can't keep seeing Man City, no matter how good they are. I don't want to see them just keep steamrolling the league almost, it feels like. So, yeah, listen, it's a great achievement. It pains me to say it. They've got the best squad in the history of football. I personally think it surpasses Real Madrid's squad at the moment. Yeah, they're the Galacticos, but when you dig into their squad, they don't have the strength of depth that Man City have. Yeah, I can just hope and pray that they get done for the 115 charges, and then none of this matters anymore, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, where do you still? Let me just throw that away. Where do you stand with Pep? Have you still got Fergie above him?
I think it's a conversation. I think it's a good conversation. I think it's a conversation we could have. I think I spoke about it before, and I said that if Pep wins this, it's the conversation you had there where you got to really break it down, talk about what's Fergie done, talk about what Pep done. You go back timelines, competitions, teams, money they had at the time. Like it's so many different things.
The variables.
I know that Pep's is going to be sort of slightly tarnished because of the charges, because of the things that are hanging over, and something that we'll talk about in a minute, but. Something that's been sort of brought more to the surface in the last few days. I know there's a few Arsenal fans out there that have had their say about it. For me, it's not something I want to talk about just after you've just lost the title, because it wasn't the conversation that we were having at the start of the season. Really, it wasn't the conversation we were having midway through or 2 months ago. But as soon as we lose it, I see a few people jump up and talk about the 115 charges. And I think if you are going to, I think it's something you've got to be consistent with. Don't do it because Liverpool done it. Liverpool have been talking about the 115 charges for a while. They come with receipts all the time and they don't stop. And as a football fan and many football fans out there, we take the mick out of Liverpool fans for pointing that out and always pulling it up and saying that it's not fair and blah, blah. But the moment that it actually happens to us, we then want to point their finger there. So, yeah, I think I get it, but I can't really take too much away from what Pep's done at the moment. Like, do I think anything's going to come of those charges? I don't know. I don't see people. I don't see them losing Premier League titles. I don't see asterisks and people's names coming anytime soon. And to be fair, do I really want it? Do I really want a Premier League title with an asterisk that I can't celebrate 2 years, 3 years down the line? I don't. I don't want it. I really don't want it. I would just like the Premier League, if there are charges pending, if they do think they've got something on Manchester City, then do deal with it. Get it over and done with in summer. Don't let it drag on for another season. Don't let them play the silly games of there's an embargo in. On the 29th of May at 1:35, someone mentioned that Man City might have this charge. Well, that means that was embargoed, and we're going to stretch out the case even longer. We're going to sue you for that. So then that delays stuff, and that's what they're doing. That's really the reason why they brought the best people in, because Pep doesn't want to have to deal with a team where he's been docked points, relegated, and all that, and they don't want to have to deal with that while there's the state watching them or owning them, anything like that. So, yeah, look, there's a reason why they brought the best lawyers in, and there's a reason why the other teams have been punished way before Man City.
Yeah, because they copped to it, didn't they? Just on the title thing, listen, I know a lot of people get excited. Like, oh, we're going to get titles. No, the worst that will happen is with the Lance Armstrong thing, where there's just no winner. It's stripped. You know, like you're not getting 2 titles. Man United aren't getting 2 titles. Whoever else, Liverpool aren't getting because it would be, like you say, it's just undeserved. You know what I mean? Because it just don't feel like it's weird. So, but listen, whatever the charges are as well, you can't take away that Pep has managed this team to these titles, that he's managed these players to these titles, even if they have overspent to get these players in. Like, listen, we've all played champ and spent 400 mil and it don't work. You know, like we've all played like
when we were younger, we didn't even know what it meant being in the red. We were just like, we can't pay the wages. Like, what's going on? Like, stretch the wages. What are you talking about? Can't pay the wages.
Yeah. So listen, like it pains me. It really does. It pains me to say it. I just think. Apparently, we won't get a judgment until 2025, though, is what like end of 2025 season is what I've heard. So next season, that's what a lot of the reports are saying. But this is what happens, isn't it? We get bogged down, and Man City fans, to their credit, they must hate this. It must be so demoralising is the wrong word, but almost like you're just saying this because we've won the title again. Because every time we have Man City win something, we bring up, I brought it up, you know, like. Maybe we should just sit back and let the FA and the Premier League sort it out and just respect what we're seeing, appreciate one of the best sides to ever play the game and appreciate one of the best managers to ever do it. So, fair play, Man City. Pains me to say it. They were the best team in the end. And that end of season form key is just crazy. Like you won 6 on the bounce, didn't you? And
honestly,
still,
it's freakish. It's like me having a 10-lap head start on Moses Kiptanui in a race, and then you can just hear him breathing down your neck with 2 laps to go, and he laps you. Like, it's relentless. It is relentless. And even as a fan, I can feel Man City breathing down the neck as these games come in thick and fast, as the finishing line ends. And it just gets to a point where you just feel like there's not enough games when you've dropped points and you just know that is going to be the game that ends your season. The thing that I don't like, look, I can deal with banter. The banter I can deal with. But this narrative that Arsenal needed other teams to do them a favour is absolutely ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Tottenham fans getting their freak on the fact that they lost to Man City and it meant Arsenal didn't win the league. Like, even if Tottenham beat Man City, it didn't mean they were doing Arsenal a favour. Like, do you not know how the Premier League works? You play for yourself. You win for yourself. You're not doing anyone a favour. Did it mean that when Crystal Palace beat Man City, were they doing Arsenal a favour? Or were they doing themselves a favour? It's just such a weird narrative. I see a video of an Arsenal fan walking through Fulham yesterday and just Chelsea fans absolutely abusing him to the point that police had to stop him and tell him to chill out. It's just like
they gave him the Lampard shirt. That's someone who needs a smack in the face.
You know that Damien Duff looking brother. Like, what was going on there? It was well weird. It was so weird. I don't get it. Like, if I was Chelsea and I'd had the season that Chelsea had, look, I completely understand they're a bit excited because they finished 6th and they finished it off very well. But if I'd had the season that I had and a Chelsea fan was walking through Arsenal, I would not be abusing him like that, taking the mick that they hadn't won the league. It's a weird narrative to spin. Arsenal
spent 600 mil. He spent 600 mil in a year as well. He's been sick. So, listen, it does feel like, because worst thing now for me is because I've got a lot of Arsenal mates, making the banter redundant, because I can't even like banter you because it's so ridiculous to say you bottled the league. It's so ridiculous to say that you crumbled. You like so there's nothing left for me. I just got to appreciate that you've done well. It's annoying because I saw Expressions, who I appreciate a lot. I think he's a great personality, but he was being dead serious about saying, and I didn't know, like I said to you on Saturday, to see Spurs fans, dead serious. He said, "What are you talking about? If we've beaten Man City and then made Champions League, you think I want to be in the Champions League? We're not going to win that. I don't want to see Arsenal win the league." And I'm just like, and he's been dead serious. I don't get that mentality. I really don't get it. He's like, what we're going to do in the Champions League? And it's the short-sightedness, the money. Next year, Champions League money is going to be the most it's ever been. Like, it's going to be mental money for clubs. It's the ability to bring in players for the next season to improve your team, sponsors to give you more money. Like, the long game you're not thinking about is crazy. Them sort of things ruins teams. So what happens to Leeds? Spent all their money, didn't make the Champions League, then had a really poor season. I'm not saying Spurs are going to get relegated, obviously, but then had a really poor season and just couldn't recover from it. And they still have never recovered from it. And that's 20 years ago. Yeah. You know, like I said, crazy mentality. Other fans, listen, like we can all. I'm not happy with the joy a lot of people are taking that Arsenal didn't win the league. I don't understand it. Like I say, I'm all for the banter. I can banter you. I can banter Birch and stuff. You know what I mean? I can get into it. And if we're just talking to each other, I'll be like, well, you bowled it against. But that's actually a joke. People have been dead serious. Like they're celebrating that Man City have won the league again. And I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, we're going to get into Farmers League in a minute, ain't we? But that's like, what do you want with this league? Do you just want Man City to win it forever now, or your team? Like, that's like.
I saw a video of a Man United fan, and he was saying, "Just give it to Man City because I'm sick of Arsenal fans and them thinking that they're the best team this and the best team that." And look this. I don't think people understand why Arsenal fans, everyone's got fans that are deluded and crazy, but I don't think people are understanding why Arsenal fans are so excited about how well their team's done over the last 2 seasons. Yeah, you've got to understand that there were 10 years where Arsenal did not win a trophy, and in those 10 years, where they built themselves up here with credibility from every other fans, we were talking rubbish because the title rivalry we had with Manchester United, Chelsea. That rivalry, that was built up there. The 10 years of winning no trophies, we nosedived, absolutely nosedived. And because we didn't win trophies, we got absolutely obliterated. For the top 4's a trophy, blah, blah, blah. You ain't won nothing, whatever, understandable. Then Arsenal started winning trophies. It was the FA Cup. They started winning trophies, but they dropped out of the top 4. So they fell off a cliff massively. So they got bantered. They were called Banter FC. Arsenal were called Banter FC. So we took a hiding every week in, week out, from every single fan from the top 6 and above. At some points, even clubs that were doing well in a season, like Brighton, their fans were taking the mick out of Arsenal fans. So you've got to understand, when Arsenal are doing well, they're going to be excited about it. Why are you trying to take the jam out of our donut? I don't get it. Let us enjoy it. One fan, Cecil, good boy, good guy, Cecil. Yeah. Wears that jumper at Christmas, saying we're top of Christmas. All of a sudden, that's the whole Arsenal fan base. That's the whole Arsenal fan base. Is you celebrated at Christmas? It was one guy wear all that jumper, and even when he wore that jumper on the TV on the show, Robbie was like, "What are you doing, Cecil?" But people don't want to ignore all of that. They just want to go, you Arsenal fans were celebrating at Christmas. And in that season as well, if anything, Arsenal fans weren't celebrating at Christmas. Because if you go to the likes of TalkSport, they were saying that Arsenal fans in February need to start backing their team and saying we're going to win it. So you get goaded into saying you're going to win it. And then when you don't, you get laughed at for being called bottle jobs. And I can't understand why, like last year, it was last year, but why this year? How are you trying to call Arsenal bottle jobs this year? How are you trying to call Arsenal what they tried to do this year a failure? Like, I don't get it.
No, but that's exactly what I mean about, like, I can't banter you and the other boys now because it's dead banter. That's exactly what I mean. Like, there is no banter. Like, because everyone's running into the ground, like acting like Arsenal bottled it this year, there's no banter for me there. It just makes me look like an idiot if I say it. It just makes me look like a fool. You know what I mean? Like,
to be
Yeah, like to be fair, Simon's right there as well. Man
Let's
United
just
have
go on
really
today.
got
So Man United
yeah.
and Chelsea not qualifying for the Champions League next season is going to massively hit them financially. It could have helped them out massively. Yeah, look, Chelsea, I think will definitely suffer. I mean, they managed to get into the Europa League. That will help them out. So if they can get to the latter stages of that, and they've got two options to get into the Champions League by either top 4 qualification or winning that trophy. Manchester United have got to rely on the fact that they've got to win the FA Cup, don't you, to get into the Conference League?
No, that's Europa League if we win the FA Cup.
Into the Europa League, and if you're in the Conference League, if you
no, that's it. We have to win the FA Cup for European football, and the money in the Europa League is not comparable to the Champions League. It really isn't, man. And like Simon's right, like I don't know, like Chelsea, because of their owners and everything like that, and the way they do business, they might
selling hotels to themselves.
Yeah, but Man United, this like in the Dukes United group, when people were talking about us going and buying like 70 mil this and 80 mil that in the summer, and I'm like, you really don't get it, do you? We've got like nothing, like in the grand scheme of things, 120 mil is a lot of money, but in player terms, like we can get 1 or 2 big players in next year, realistically, and then a couple of smaller ones at most before we sell. And that's the money that Simon's talking about there. That's an extra whatever it is in the bank to, you know what I mean, the advertising rights, everything that goes, it's everything that goes with it, man. It's and that's what comes back to the Spurs fans again. Like, you're crazy if you think you don't need Champions League football. Like, I've been saying for a while, I think Man United need a year out of Europe, and I stick with that. But we're self-sustainable. We make a lot of money, and I'm talking 1 year. Like, I mean, 1 year. Like, if we go 2 or 3 years without Champions League football, we're in serious trouble, man. Like, serious trouble. So, yeah, it's going to be like it was a bad season for Man United. I just hope it picks up next year, because otherwise.
So I said Chelsea managed to get Europa Conference. Tottenham qualified for Europa. I can't believe that people have actually saying to replace the manager Arsenal after manager Arsenal lost 1 game in 2024. We drew away to Man City. We'll get onto that one in a second. And everyone else saying that Arsenal should have tried to win against Man City. Aston Villa did that the following week and got smashed 4-1. Let's quickly get onto a little bit of what Simon said there, but more so onto the comments of Rodri. Rodri yesterday said Manchester City beating Arsenal to the Premier League was down to mentality after Pep Guardiola's side win their 4th Premier League title in a row. The Manchester City midfielder has claimed that Arsenal lacked the mentality to win the Premier League. City won their final game at home, the last game of the season against West Ham, to seal their 4th Premier League title. However, City failed to beat Arsenal, both Arsenal and Liverpool, on their way to the title. And Rodri says the reason why Arsenal didn't win the title was because they played for a draw at Manchester City and didn't go for the win. Garth, what's your thoughts on that one? Because I still look at the Manchester City draw and feel like it was a good result. Arsenal took 4 points of City this season. And I think people are underestimating what City are like at the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I said it at the time. I say it now. You get a point at the Etihad. That's a magnificent point. If you're in the title run, if you're in relegation zone, if you're mid-table, you take a point from Man City at their ground. That's a great point. You cannot be. What's the word I'm looking for? You cannot be judging your entire season on getting a point at Man City and as that being your downfall. That's absolutely crazy. Mentality, I would like to think that he was talking more about what I was saying about, which is that experience, that we know how to do it. We know how to get ourselves over the line. I hope he wasn't trying to dig Arsenal boys out by saying they're weak and they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, that, I'm hoping it's a bit of lost in translation, because otherwise Rodri's an absolute doofus. Like, you know, like a doofus, man. So yeah, it's a great point. Like, Arsenal didn't lose the title this year. Like, they didn't lose it. They were beaten by a better team. And that's the way people have got to think about it. It's not like last year. Last year, and even last year, all jokes aside, wasn't a massive crumble. It was just you didn't get over the line. You know what I mean? You should have done, but you didn't. This year, Man City have just been, I keep saying, indomitable. Like, there's no, like, you didn't throw anything away. Like, you look at the Villa game, results like that happen. Like, unless you're Man City, you cannot expect to win. If, like, 12 games, 13 games in a row. And even then, what did Arsenal do? Was it one defeat since Christmas?
One defeat since Christmas.
So what? So that's how you lost the title. You didn't win every game. This behave it's silly, man. It's infuriating. It's reductive, I think is the right word for it. If you're even saying anything like that in seriousness, you're not looking into the finer details of a season, the finer details of how football works. You're not. Yeah, it's silly, man. It's really silly. I mean, I'll ask you, as an Arsenal fan, after the Villa game, were you like, if that might have been it?
Yes. I think at the time, so if you go back to the Villa game around Christmas, that was the first. We had a really bad patch of form. Villa, West Ham, Fulham, Newcastle, all dropped points in and around that time. I think we all went a bit like, can we win a title if we're dropping points like that? But then we came back from that after Christmas and we're on fire, and literally we're on fire. We were smashing in goals. It was just at the time when people were questioning who plays up front and whether we need a 20-goal a season striker. And after that, I think we scored like 20 goals in 4 games. So ridiculous like that. It was frightening, our form. Smashed Liverpool, was smashing everyone, and then drew to Man City, and then came the Villa defeat, which was out of nowhere. Really, really was out of nowhere. If we get a draw in that game, then the season ends completely different, and Arsenal win the league. At the time, then yes, you did think it was a major blip, but then you still thought Man City may drop a point here or there along the way, and they just didn't. Let's just pull up Man City's form, because obviously everything in green is a win here.
Looking for some new sunglasses.
This is I was actually Cazals, mate. This is Man City's form at the start of the season. Drop point here, lost to Arsenal, and then I think their last loss was against Villa in December the 6th, and then they didn't lose a game afterwards. Only dropping points to Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal, and all the rest is green. It's actually frightening because you don't see it. You don't really see it. And I think Rodri's in it so much that his level of expectation and the bar that he's around is so high that he's expecting everyone else to follow. And it's so hard. We'll get to an article in a second, but what do you see it changing anytime soon? Do you see anyone else getting involved? It's just Man City dominance.
Yeah. That's what I've said. I mean, Alex, obviously, on the show a lot. I was talking to her in the chat, and she was like, I think Arsenal are going to win it next year. And I was like, I hope you're right. But with Pep and Man City about, like, you can't. Like he'll go out and spend another 100, 200 mil in the summer or whatever before someone gets like he'll go out and buy 2 of the world's best like up and coming players or best, you know what I mean, to supplement his already amazing squad. It's just you've got to be inch perfect.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. You've got Arsenal fans saying the more angry Arsenal fans, they're saying, "Oh, we dropped points against Fulham, West Ham, Villa. It's not good enough. It's not good enough." But you're expecting a near perfect season. You're expecting Arsenal to win 34 games out of 38, and draw the rest or drop one. Like it's just that's ridiculous. That form, that level of consistency is so hard that the Manchester City have built under Pep. You're expecting Mikel Arteta in his first job to do that at Arsenal. I just don't.
Back on Mikel Arteta quickly. He's come back as a silent question. I've seen a lot of comments about how he's the Arsenal's Brendan Rodgers. He ain't got what it takes. I disagree with all of that. But I think I asked you a few weeks ago, and I'm just going to come back to you on it now. How many years does he get before it's like, well, he's not doing it either? Or is it just like what I said? It doesn't matter. You come out against Man City. Like if you have almost exactly the same season again next year and the year after, no trophies, and you're almost in the league, but you just get pipped at the end. Like, is he still your man? Is he still your guy, do you reckon? Or do you need to look elsewhere?
I think it all depends on the circumstances. I think it depends how you miss out on the league. It depends.
Yeah.
And the cup thing, I think he does need to add cups. I think he needs to add some. Right now, I want to see us go further in the competitions. To say we got to win it, we got to win this, we got to win that. Yes, you want to win, but you want to see us compete, and I want to see us compete more in the FA Cup, compete more in the Carabao Cup, whether we're blood and youngsters, because I don't really see that we do that. So it seems like it's a bit of a, what are you doing with that cup? Because it doesn't really feel like you're playing a weakened team to blood some youngsters or give people minutes. It's just kind of in the middle, and for me that's no good. I think you need to leave that competition for your B team and really bring in some youngsters and giving them an opportunity. That even one year is the Miles Lewis Skellies, see if they can do it against adults, because that and I think they're in the Johnston Paint Trophy, aren't they, as well? The youth.
What, the under-23s are they? Are they? Fair play.
Under 21s now, yeah.
Yeah, Germany's been doing that for a long time, haven't they? Allowing their second teams to play in there.
Yeah, and that gives them game time against grown men as well, which is what you need to see whether they're
physical players as well. Them
exactly.
League 2, League 1 players, physical specimens that are going to like bash you about all over the pitch, sort of thing. That's good.
Exactly.
Play to them.
So I'd like to, and I'd like to see us get further in the Champions League, which I think we've done well in. To get knocked out by Bayern Munich is nothing to be embarrassed about. I know people talk about the worst Bayern Munich in years, but they seem to do a decent job against Real Madrid.
Well, the worst Bayern Munich team in years is still one of the best teams of all time. Like, it's crazy talk. So, like, just because they're playing badly doesn't mean they're a bit bad ball, don't mean they're a bad side. But no, and this I think is where rival fans need to start respecting Arsenal as well. It's like, if next year you don't win anything next year, but again, you're second by a point. You go to a semi-final, final competition. You progress even more in the Champions League. That is the progression that all fans of clubs should be striving for. Like, Steve always says, there's only 2 big trophies to win. I disagree. I think all trophies are worth playing for and winning personally. But even if you just take them 2, the further you go, it shows progression. You know what I mean? Like, teams don't win, unless you're Real Madrid, you don't win the Champions League very often. Like, it doesn't happen. Any given Sunday, something can happen. You know, you keep players out with a cold, and it just so happens that you've got to play a youth player in that team. You know, like, so yeah, as long as you see, this is what I was getting at. As long as you can see the progression, I don't think trophies matter for the next couple of years for Arsenal. It will be nice, of course it will, to take a League Cup, an FA Cup, possibly a Champions League, or like possibly a league. But I don't think it matters. I think Arteta's proven he's got a system that works. He's proven that the players respond to it, that they respect him, that they're willing to go above and beyond for him. He's clearly an influential manager on the man management side of things. His tactics are decent. Like, I don't see any fault in Mikel Arteta at the moment. The only thing you can beat him with is no trophies. I mean, I'll even go as far as say, all right, it was Emery's team that won the FA Cup. I hate that. But if you want to go down that road and say he still hasn't won a trophy, all right. But I still have seen the constant progression from this team. 8th, 5th, second, back into the Champions League, back into looking at cups. And yeah, if you can start blooding youngsters in the League Cup again, shows progression, because it shows that your squad depth is good again. That you're not having to worry about getting minutes in the legs of all your players because you've only got the FA Cup and the league to play for. You know where I'm coming from? That, like, everything I see from Arsenal is progression, man. So any Arsenal fan that's worried about Arteta, be careful what you wish for, because you'll end up with Arne Slot.
Oh, mate, we've done that before, and we had 3 years of hounding Arsene Wenger out the door. So don't get back on that horse again. We're going to be looking at an article that came out in Goal in a second. Just before that, we're going to go to the comments. Galvo's in the room. How you doing, Galvo? Try to beat Man City. Why didn't we think of that sooner? Do you know what I mean?
Great. Yeah, you know what? Eric, I just said over the last 10 minutes, that encapsulates it perfectly.
Yeah. A win against Villa for Arsenal and its champions. A win against Villa and Fulham, and home early in the season. Its champions at Old Trafford.
Don't rub it in. So this is the second time you keep talking about Old Trafford. So I have last time as well, mate.
Between Christmas and New Year, it went a bit Pete-tong. But it was Villa, as we had our destiny in our own hands. and Manchester City lost defeat away at Aston Villa on the 6th of December. Last defeat on the it was the 6th of December away to Aston Villa. Since then, they've not lost a game. It's ridiculous.
And you've lost one.
Weird.
You've lost one. That's what I mean. Perfect. You need to beat this Man City team. You need to be perfect. And I'm not talking about cups. So in the league, because on the cup, any given Sunday in the hours, but in the league to beat them, you've got to be perfect every minute of every game. And no one's got that squad depth apart from Man City. Like no one. So yeah.
An article in Goal, it says, "Welcome to the Farmers League. Manchester City's dominance and European failures have exposed the Premier League lie." It says, for the 6th time in 7 seasons, the English title has been won, and it's by a club who's facing 115 charges related to their alleged breaches in financial rules. Manchester City's 115 alleged breaches of financial regulations and all have won the Premier League. Again, Pep Guardiola may have told us the most valuable squad in world football were big in trouble just weeks ago, but the state-sponsored club still managed to win their 6th title in the past 7 years. Garth, the article then goes on to talk about the fact that Manchester City have won it. Liverpool, even getting 97 points isn't enough sometimes. How close Arsenal were on this occasion. What's your take on this? Do you feel like the Premier League's turned into a farm league? And if so, what is your description of a farmers league?
Second point first, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, what's the farmers league? For me, a farmers league is where there's only one team that's any good and the rest of the league's pretty whack. Whereas the Premier League isn't that. We've got the most exceptional team at the top, and then underneath it, you've got 8 quality teams, like good teams. And so there's not a farmers league per se, but it's getting close. It really is, because my definition is very precise. But if you're a fan of La Liga team or the Bundesliga team or Serie A team, and you've seen us calling you farmers leagues for the last 20 years, you'd be looking at our league going, well, what are you talking about? I won't quickly on the European failure thing. I'm not like someone's trying this with me. I'm like, we've won 3 of the last 5 Champions Leagues with 3 different teams. Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. So no, I'm not having that just because we haven't done anything this year in Europe. Like last year, we won 2 of the 3 competitions. You know what I mean? Conference League and Champions League. But yeah, no, I can understand the point of view. As I was saying earlier, I can 100% understand the sentiment. I mean, if you look at the league and it's just Man City, Man's like 7 of the last 8, I think it is, or if they win next year, sorry, 6 of the last 7. And this is what I said: if they win it next year and it's 7 of the last 8, then I'm not going to go as far as to call us a farmers league, but I certainly can't call any other league a farmers league from this point forward. If that makes sense. Yeah,
I get that. I don't really like the term the farmers league. It's usually used to sort of diminish the levels of every other league, and it usually comes from an English fan most of the time as well. Yeah. And then when you look at our league, it's hard not to say our league's not a farmers league. But I completely agree. I can't say the Premier League's a farmers league, because when there's teams like Brighton, like Newcastle, who were only in the Championship a few years ago and now fighting for the top 4 spots. Villa's the same again. We're in the Championship now, in the Champions League. I don't think you get the level across the board with most countries in the same that we do. But I completely agree with what you're saying. If Manchester City continue to dominate the Premier League the way they have, there is a problem, and there is an issue with PR as well, because if the Premier League are trying to spin that this is a league where anyone can win it, it's the most competitive league in the world, and you've seen for the last 4 years that Manchester City have won it, it's not really a good advertisement for the league. And the fact that team has got 115 charges weighing over their head, that's another thing that's not a good look for that team.
No, listen, I can understand though, and this is a Premier League fan-centric point of view here. I can understand the jealousy from other leagues as well, the money we spend on players, you know what I mean, like, et cetera, and then for us to say the best league in the world. I still believe that the best league in the world. For me, competitiveness isn't just about the winning of the league. It's about the rest of it. You speak about Aston Villa out of nowhere now in the Champions League. You talk about Brighton. You're exactly right. And that's the competitiveness I'm talking about. You go to like Germany, their top 3 teams are usually exactly, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see any fluctuation really in like the best teams. But as I'm saying that, I'm like, yeah, and then again, that's England at the moment as well, isn't it? You get Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. So yeah, I can understand it. I can understand it. Like yourself, I'm not a big fan of the word Farmers League. I like to say what's competitive and what's not. Yeah, I can understand it. This is the thing that I've got no argument to say we're not here. Is the way I'm going now. That's probably the final point on it.
For me, it's hard for me to call it a Farmers League when
Yeah.
our top 4, yes, it's got Man City, but our top 4 consists of 2 teams that 3 years ago or 2 seasons ago weren't in the top 4. And the 2 teams that were in the top 4 a couple of seasons ago, Man United and Chelsea, are both 6th and 8th. So that says to me it's not a Farmers League. Maybe we don't know the backstories off the surface of just looking at like that of what's happened to Chelsea and Man United. However, those teams were teams that were in the Champions League and now they're trying to get into the Europa League and the Conference League. So,
sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Now those teams are dead food.
Dead food, fam. No.
So that, yeah, look, I get the sentiment. It's tough. Yeah, but what it boils down to is one club. It's Man City. And yeah, once Pep goes, I don't think that dominance will be there.
No, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm desperate to see him out of nowhere say that he's leaving at the end of the season. Like just after the FA Cup, I just got this tiny little thing where I'm like, it's not going to happen.
Well, once he wins the FA Cup, he's going to be like, do you know what?
I think
treble, double.
Yeah, I've had enough. I think of my time at Man City.
Yeah, treble, double. You know, he's won the treble, then won the double. Like he's got nothing left to prove. Like maybe he just decides that he's going to go and manage Spain or something. You know what I mean? Fingers crossed, and then we can start going for it again. But yeah, it's not a Farmers League. There are, in reality as well, there are no Farmers Leagues in Europe. I mean, the French League is the closest thing you can say to a Farmers League, and even that, I mean, they've dropped out of the top 5 leagues now, haven't they? So. Yeah, Germany, Leverkusen have just proved that you can do it in Germany. I know Bayern have won 11 in a row before then, but that's a financial thing. Italy, they've always got different winners. Like they've always got different winners in Italy, it feels like. Napoli last year, weren't it? And then we was in this year, Inter this year, Juventus a couple of years. Oh, obviously, they were match fixing or whatever it was, but you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, a couple of leagues, Farmers Leagues, if you're an English fan, a fan of an English team, because they are just going to be able to take it right back at you at the moment. Like, and it don't mean anything. So, yeah, it don't mean anything.
All right, next up is something that came up early this week is the VAR vote. Wolves have put in a letter to the Premier League to say that essentially they want to scrap VAR and they are going to do a vote this week. As they prepare to vote for whether VAR is going to be something that they keep around, there's an article as well that has come out that basically levels up where the points would have gone if there was no VAR. First and foremost, Garth, what's your thoughts on the news that they're going to have a vote on VAR? Wolves not happy about how it's been going. They're essentially saying that with the time that it takes, it kind of loses. You lose that sort of the moment when you score a goal, and the fact that it takes so long and they're still getting decisions wrong. What they're saying, what's the point in it? What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, for me, VAR's got to stay. I'll get into all the explanations in a minute. I think it's good technology that isn't quite there yet, if that makes... Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it needs to be in the game. I agree with the length of time on decisions, especially some decisions. Like, this isn't rugby. There's very few decisions in football, I feel that need to take more than a minute and a half to get right. Absolute most. I would also say give the VAR referee a lot more power and just say to the referee in his ear, you've made the wrong decision here, mate. You know what I mean? And then it comes down to the referee to say, I don't think I want to see it on the screen. Not every decision the referee has to go to the screen. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, these are the things that need to be ironed out. The offside rule needs to change as well, because that's crazy. Like, we need daylight.
What would you change? Oh, yeah. Do you know what they said? I think they've spoken about that. They've spoken about
it. Yeah, Wenger's talking about it. Yeah.
There is going to be a change with the offside, and that there needs to be some form of daylight thing again,
If
essentially.
you're a toenail offside, you're not offside, mate. You're not offside. That's not an advantage or anything. Like, the daylight rule for me was the best iteration of the offside rule. You had to have a gap between, and it doesn't have to be your whole body. Your legs can be next to your defender. If your body, you've got gap in between you and the last defender, then you're offside. You've made an advantage.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit like cricket, where if you've got the bat in the crease, you're in. But if your bat's out the crease, you're out. So if he's making that run and his body's ahead of the defender, but his foot's in line with the defender, for me, that's onside. Now, it's offside the moment there is a gap and he's had that advantage. Do you know what I mean? Because having that spring and anticipating the run, you shouldn't be penalised for that as a striker.
No.
I think it's
not in a game that's all about entertainment as well. Like people can say that VAR's ruining it. That's ruining it. Because you're now, like, you have to be so onside that you're not getting these great run-throughs, balls over the top, you know what I mean, etc., etc.
Well, when it first came out, there were people that were facing their own goal and they had a heel that was offside and their heel was offside. But when the ball's come over, they've still had to turn and they've given it offside because the back of their heel was past that line. It's just like, come on, man. That's ridiculous. That's not what we asked for when we asked for, like, the assistant referees. We don't want those ridiculously small margins. It's got to be clear. It's got to be obvious. It's got to be an advantage to the player.
So that's what VAR's got to stay. We just need to refine it. We need to work with the technology. The automated offsides. Just seen someone comment there. I agree that I think that's going to be quite interesting if that works.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But again, the offside rule needs to be not my toenails offside. Like, it needs to be. It has to be daylight for me. It really does have to be daylight for me. And we need to stop getting involved in too many decisions, VAR, as well. We need to stop, like, there's too many things they're calling up.
Sorry, yesterday, Arsenal's second goal. Did that really need to go to VAR?
No. And that's what I mean. Rules need to be streamlined, because everyone who's watching it, I've seen people watching it live as well, and they're watching alongs. No one thought that was a handball. No one. Everton fans didn't think it. The rest of the world didn't think it. I didn't think it. You didn't think it. But one dude in the VAR box is like, oh, you need to look at it. No, like, learn the rules properly. Have this. You've got to take out as much objectivity as you can. It has to be like, it can't be like your opinion. The rules need to be less vague. It has to be proper. So what is the rule? Like, that can't be a handball.
His arm was by his side. Like, literally no gap in his arm. It was by his side, and the ball hit his arm by his side. So the moment your arm is stuck to your body like that, that is a part of your body. That's not a part. That's not your arm. That's now a part of your body, because it's nothing you can do. You can't cut your arms off to stop yourself from handballing it. It's ridiculous. And
I saw someone on Twitter be like, "Listen, it's a handball. It gained an advantage, so it's a free kick." And I'm like, yeah, but a ball's bigger than, like, that ball also touched part of his body as well. Like, you know what I mean? He hit him there. So he hit his chest as well. So if his arm was up there, it probably still hit his chest. And it's still probably been exactly like, so we've got to streamline these rules. We've got to get them better. We've got to assist these referees so they can make uniform decisions a lot of the time. One quick thing on this as well, though. I do not want to hear about challenges from managers for VAR. That is one of the most ridiculous ideas I've ever heard.
Tennis.
It was like cricket, like tennis, because I've seen it in cricket and in not so much tennis, but in cricket, you use it as an advantage. Like, you get minutes taken off the clock, and it will be you. Oh my God! Could you imagine Simeone with 2 challenges per game in his back pocket? That would be so frivolous. That would be so frivolous, and I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see that.
When he clearly knows it's a goal, he's going to challenge it. Take some time.
Well, in cricket, you do it like, if you're down, say you're like the 7th batsman in, and you're chasing 50 runs, you know you're plumb out, but you challenge it just in case anyway. Just in case, maybe I nicked it, maybe snick on it will get, maybe hot spot will come up, and I don't want to see that in football. You know what I mean? Where we're now drawing lines because maybe Nketiah was offside for that goal. Like, I can't be dealing with that. Yeah, we don't want none of that. So none of this challenge malarkey.
Russ says automated offsides are coming in. Gavin says fair play to the ref, and the second goal, it's pretty rare. Refs go to the screen, but it sticks with his call on the pitch. Yeah, I think we said that yesterday. We said, you were saying, you know what happens when he goes to the screen. Yeah. You know what happens when he goes to the screen. He went to the screen and he went, no. And I was like, it still took a couple of seconds to to register.
Register.
He could he allowed to go because when he pointed, went and pointed. I was like, that blowing the whistle pointing, pointing into the kickoff. Yeah, so it's a goal still. Yeah. It was silly.
And
it's
that
silly.
needs to become the norm as well. This is like referees. This is what I mean. Like, if you're going to have the fourth official, like the VAR official and the referee, you need to have the referee to have enough power to just say, I'm not coming to the screen, mate. I am very happy with my decision. Unless you're telling me right now it's one of the most egregious things you've ever seen, I'm very happy with my decision and be done with it. And the same for VAR to be like, no, mate, I'm 100%. This is what I mean. Like the VAR official needs to be 100% sure that there's been a mistake here. Not, I think you need to look at this. I'm not sure what you're going to think about. Like if the VAR is saying that, it's not clear and obvious. So what are we doing here? That's what I mean. Like the VAR official needs to be able to be like, no, it's a mistake because the rule set is in place that proves, like, without any vagueness, without any opinion on your side, that that's a foul and you need to look at it. Or that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so
like
you've
really missed something here. You've really missed something here. You need to come and have a look at the screen. Yeah, no, it does.
They brought in new technology without adapting the rules around the technology. It's probably the best one, you know, and they need to do that. But look at this table. Let's quickly come to this now. So basically, no one's missed out. No one's missed out on anything apart from
no one's missed out. So Manchester City are exactly the same. Arsenal would have had 1 point more. Liverpool would have had 1 point less. Aston Villa would have had 4 points more. Tottenham 2. Newcastle 1. Chelsea -2. Man United +1. West Ham +3. Brighton missing out probably the most with a +5. They would have had Crystal Palace with a +2. Bournemouth. But if you look at the positions don't change really.
They're only going up one, aren't they? Brighton's going up one place. Right. Wolves, why are they so upset?
Wolves, the ones who made the most noise about it, +3 they would have moved up in points.
And one place.
Positional move. And one place they would have moved up.
So, I mean, all right, we're probably talking 4 or 5 mil, maybe. I know, but like, what are you whinging about, Wolves? It hasn't damaged the season at all, really. Like, it's crazy. So literally, it wouldn't. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, all the teams that went down would have still gone down as well. No positional change there whatsoever.
No. So like no, there's no reason to bring it in. This stinks of I'm butthurt. Like literally, like, you know what I mean? I believe it's 16 of the 20 teams need to vote for it as well. I think that's how it works. It might be unanimous though. I heard someone else say it's unanimous. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. So yeah, like I say, reform, adapt the rules around the technology. Get the technology to a better level, like the automated offsides, where we can, like, we're not hand drawing lines on the pitch. All these things are going to improve it. And one more thing, a bit like rugby, maybe have the referee at American football turn on a mic so he can explain his decision-making process on controversial decisions, like straight away. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you know what I mean? You know, he was definitely offside for me. You can see his shoulder. It's 5 seconds, 10 seconds just to explain so everyone watching. That's why my decision is what it is. And no, we can't have referees coming out for post-match interviews. We can't have referees explaining their decisions after the game. They can explain their thought processes in the game, and that's it. You know what I mean? We've got to stop digging out. He needs to be sacked. He's like, no, referees, we need referees, people. Like, we need them. And mistakes will be made. But that's part of football. Like, people talk about the celebrations. Sorry, now I've got to come out of that. Like, yeah, we've got to learn to adapt how we celebrate. So, yes, sometimes. Like when Man United score, I'm like, oh, that looked offside, and then it isn't, and then you celebrate. Or Arsenal score against us, and we're down, and then a minute later, it's chalked off. Celebration. You've got to learn to celebrate a little differently, is all.
Yeah,
like,
look, I understand that. Look, the ones that are saying, yeah, and you celebrate, and then you got a question, you got to wait. I can't even enjoy it. Do you know what? I've enjoyed many goals that Arsenal scored this season, and all of them have had to, like, there's an air of, is that going to be a goal? Yeah, you get used to it. You get used to it.
Celebration. Double celebration.
It's been going on for
double
years
celebration,
now.
Mate.
I do think people are clutching at straws when they say that.
Yeah.
I can't celebrate straight away. All right, so what? You still have the same feeling when you do get to celebrate. It doesn't change whatsoever. Yeah, you celebrate celebrations. Yeah,
and then you're like, oh no, heart starts going, palms are sweaty. Oh, it just needs to be sped up. That's the biggest thing. These decisions need to be sped up. Definitely need to be sped up, man.
Yeah, I agree. On to this one now. Go on, do it again.
He didn't. Oh my goodness. He is such an egomaniac.
For sure. Now, Garth, I know you're a big fan of Jurgen Klopp. I know that you feel like all of this is justified. Do you feel like Jurgen Klopp's farewell has been a bit over the top? I mean, the initial talk at the start of the season, when the news was announced, was that Jurgen Klopp leaving would galvanise the Liverpool team to the point where they would be unstoppable and win the quadruple. They weren't able to do that, and in fact, they only won the Carabao Cup. They won the Carabao Cup as they fell off a cliff in the league as well. Backtracking on comments made earlier in the season, even to the point week 30 when fans and pundits were questioned who was going to win the league. At week 30, remember this one, week 30, I think it was a resounding 42% said Liverpool would win the league. I think the rest was Manchester City, and then a little scrap of it was Arsenal down in third. Garth, Liverpool fans haven't been able to enjoy the farewell tour like the Beatles, as they said it was going to be. The Tasmanian Devils, the Banshees, they said the unstoppable. They've not quite been that. But do you feel like the Klopp's farewell has been a bit over the top?
Mate, that geezer he's literally the walking representation of that meme. Brother, what's that? Yeah, what's that, brother? Like, bruv, what are you doing? You egomaniac. Go around for a second. Go through the tunnel for a second tunnel of honour. Oh, my God. Listen, Liverpool fans will probably be very upset from the rest of us laughing at this situation because they're going to be like, I can't even start to, honestly. It's cringe. It's ridiculous. He's been a good manager. He's been a great manager. He's brought Liverpool fans a lot of joy. He's brought Liverpool fans, but he's not your friend. He's not your partner. He's not your lover. He's not your dad. He's especially not your dad. I need a lot of Liverpool fans to understand that. Like, he doesn't know you. He doesn't care about you. Like, it's crazy. The media hype, the fan hype. Like, honestly, did you see like when he first announced it and the story going around how, like, honestly, I don't even read this one. It was probably fake, but this is how Liverpool fans are. It's like, yeah, I saw the news on TV. I had to get to my son's school. I had to get there because I couldn't have him finding out this news from anyone else. And then what
do we think of that?
Brother,
what's that, brother? Yeah, I had to get to school before anyone else told him, and then I got there and I saw him at the school gates, and he just started crying, and I just started crying, and we just held each other outside the school gates, knowing that things will never be the same again.
What?
brother,
bruv, I look back to Fergie's thing, and it's a little thing on, he walks out on the pitch and gives a speech, tells everyone to celebrate Village and give Moyes his back. We had some things. There was some media hype. Obviously, there was a lot of media packages about it, but it wasn't as saturated. It's like what has Klopp done to deserve this so much? Like, straight after the football yesterday, a farewell to Klopp. Exactly, Klopp isn't dead. Exactly.
An 11 minute farewell video. 11 minutes. I've not even watched it. I can't. They're 11 minutes I won't ever get back. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm not missing out on anything. I can't watch that. It was like a 3 minute video from Trent, videos from everyone. That video just showed you there of his double lap of honour. It actually said there was a player missing. Did you notice any player missing?
No. I did. No, you know that goes on though, don't you? Did you see the one where he's got them all, not the players, I don't know, I guess they're staff, and he's got them all hand in hand running to the cop end and giving it the old fist pump and then running back and running again. It's so cringe. He is so cringy. He's so cringy. I can't deal with him, honestly. Well over the top.
brother,
It's literally
what's
what
that?
What's that, brother?
What's that, brother?
What's up, brother? What's that, brother?
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know if it's just because I hate Liverpool. It's not though, because no one. I honestly think he's such an egomaniac. He's so egotistical, Klopp. That is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you go back through his press conferences, he gets well. I know Fergie did as well. Fergie was an egomaniac. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying he wasn't, but asking for games to be rearranged because of VAR decision went against him, whinging about kickoff times and this and I'm like, now we've got no FA Cup replays basically because of what Klopp was saying. Like, yeah, listen, he's been I go back to what I said at the beginning. He's been a good manager, a great manager. For me, he doesn't make top 5 Premier League all time, and if he does, it's 5th, and by a long way in 5th as well. Like, yeah, I don't want to hear about net spend from Liverpool fans. Like he tried that. Did you see him in the press conference at the end? Like, oh yeah, we've done it on a budget, bro. You've got the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. You've got the most expensive centre back in the world. You've got the most expensive. Like, behave yourself. You ain't spent no money. You just spent 90 mil on Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
60 mil on Szoboszlai. 30 mil each on Gravenberch and McAllister. Get in the bin. Get in the bin with your we don't spend money. We've done it on a budget. Like we all spend money. So yeah, I think that he's been so overblown for the achievements that he's got, and this is why everyone else is reacting this way to Liverpool fans, and they seem to not understand it because they just don't get into it. And it's because of this absolute overhype, over emotional as well. Like, that's why it's so cloying and sickening. Like these videos, like these slow motion videos with those absolute horse teeth in my face all the time. Get in a bin, mate. Don't want to see it no more. So yeah, I don't know if that rambling I hate Klopp monologue like come across like it should, but yeah, I hate Klopp and I hate Liverpool. So
that's completely fair.
What about yourself though? Where are you at with it, bruv? Like,
it's way over the top, mate. The way they're talking, it feels like he's dead.
Yeah,
like, honestly, it's ridiculous. I can't. I get it. I get it. Liverpool is the biggest manager Liverpool have had in years. For me, I don't see any different from Rafa Benitez. Like, yes, he managed to win a title and Rafa Benitez didn't, but I don't see. I feel like he's as big a manager, or as good a manager as a Liverpool manager as Rafa Benitez, and I don't understand all the hype around it. He won 1 Premier League trophy. Yes, he won everything else once, but like comparing him to Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho, let alone Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep Guardiola, is absolutely laughable. So yeah, it's not even in the same conversation as them. Let's quickly go to the comment section before we move on. I can confirm this is not going. He's not going to listen or watch that for 11 minutes. He refuses to listen to 5-minute voice notes.
He knows you.
Yeah, from you, Si. From you. You would. I would not have spoken to Si in about 2 weeks, yeah, and then I'll get a half-hour voice note. I'm like, Si, I ain't listening to that, bro. I ain't listening to that. I'll tell you that now. Send me it in a message. I'm not doing an 11-minute, half-hour voice note. Not happening. Not happening.
Sorry, you got to chop them up, mate. You got to chop them up. Send him 5 2-minuters, bro. But you'll get away with that. He'll listen to them. It may take him half a day to get to the 5th message, but he'll definitely listen to it at some point, mate. That's how you got to deal with it.
The video of him dancing at his farewell party with his baseball cap turned backwards and John Barnes rapping. I'm not making it up. No, don't.
John Barnes, mate, you can throw him a pound nugget and he'll do that Anfield rap, won't he? Literally, he'll do that whenever he can.
100%. 100% he will.
Just quickly before we move on here as well, this is another thing I need to say, Liverpool fans. Don't expect Klopp not to go to another club at some point as well.
Yeah, he's going Real Madrid. He's 100% going Real Madrid or Bayern Munich.
So like when Real Madrid or Bayern Munich turn up at Anfield and smash you up, I want you to remember how much you respect Klopp and how much you love him and how he's your dad and your brother and your like we'll see how much in love they are then.
He actually said that, didn't he? He actually said, "Oh, people feel like I'm going to manage another club, but I just look inside and I'm empty." Like, again, so over dramatic.
Oh God,
so over dramatic. I've just got nothing. You've got nothing because you looked at Liverpool's team, you looked at Man City, and went, "Fuck that. I'm not going at this again. I'm not doing another rebuild. Salah's leaving. Like, I can't do it." I can't, and I get it, but just say, look, it's too much of a bigger job. It needs someone young, it needs someone fresh, it needs someone who's going to have that enthusiasm to not win a couple of for a couple of seasons, to be questioned of whether I can do it, and then once that team's built, go through what I went through again and potentially not win it again because Man City is juggernaut. We all understand that. We all understand that, and it'll be. I'm fully expecting you to go and do the job that you've done at Liverpool, but better at a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, or a Bayern Munich. But all this nonsense about that you're not going to manage another team.
Of course he is.
It's absolute bullshit.
Of course he is. He's not even that old. That's what I mean. Like, don't even be surprised. Like, he probably won't. But money talks. Don't be surprised if out of nowhere, 10 years' time, he takes a job in the Premier League again. You know, like a la Rafa Benitez, because he's out of work and he needs to. Like, man's got to work. People have got to work. You know what I'm saying? So, crazy.
Another manager who was left and he managed his last game for Brighton yesterday was Roberto De Zerbi. But he also expressed his desire to return to the Premier League and said that he does not have a job lined up. I know that there's the Bayern Munich job that is out there at the moment that he's been touted as taken over, but Bayern Munich said that it would not be an Italian taking over that job, and he said he's got no work lined up. Other clubs that are potentially admirers of De Zerbi, he's shaking his head, but it's your club, Manchester United, Garth. I saw that just before I posted this up. Roberto De Zerbi, what would you think of his time at Brighton? Started off very well, ended a little bit underwhelming considering his first season at the club. What's your thoughts on De Zerbi?
Yeah, I think it's unfair. Underwhelming because he's done so well. I think he's a decent manager. I think he's very overhyped. I really do think that. I don't think he's an elite manager. Hopefully he'll prove me wrong somewhere. I don't want him at Man United. I think that I want to know what's going on here, though, kid. Like, outside of how good I think Roberto De Zerbi is, like, if he hasn't got a club lined up and there's no problem at Brighton, what's happened here? Yeah, like happened. What's gone on here? Because you had a great season last year. Yeah, it's not been great this year, but again, and no disrespect, you're Brighton. Like, you're Brighton and Hove Albion. Like, a couple of years ago, like people weren't thinking of you at all. Like, I know it isn't all him, obviously, Potter, and like, but what's going on here? Because why would you leave? If you've looked, I just presumed the moment I heard he was leaving, I presumed that Bayern Munich job was done and dusted. That's why he's leaving. You know what I mean? Like, it's been, and everyone's saying it isn't. So, I mean, like, I don't want him at Man United because I don't think he's an upgrade on Ten Hag. I really don't. I really don't. So interesting. I don't know what it is because that's like he's been doing well there. The players like him. He likes the club and everything. Unless it's a homesick thing, you know, like we find out later his wife is desperate to go back home, or his kids, like, you know what I mean, don't like it in Brighton, or like, weird, very weird, mate. But just a good manager in my opinion. That's about it. Just a good manager.
Just a good manager. It'd be interesting to see what happens with De Zerbi. He said he's got a desire to come back to the Premier League, so it's only going to take one second for his name to be thrown about very quickly. Look, Tony Bloom's a very it looks like he's a very good owner, a very intelligent owner, knows what he's doing. He's got his business model there. I think there was issues with their business models in terms of De Zerbi felt like they should be keeping some of their best players a little bit longer. Obviously, you knew that Caicedo was leaving, a player that he probably wanted to keep hold of, and he probably felt that Brighton, rather than edging for more money, should have just basically said, "You're not going anywhere," and built on his progression. But
never
they've
works.
got an Ajax model, and we've seen clubs that have started off with this model and then changed their mind halfway through. They don't last. They end up with players that don't need to, that shouldn't be there. They should have sold a few seasons ago, and they end up in banging trouble.
You can't turn your nose down to 115 for Caicedo in the end. There's definitely 105 minimum, weren't it? Yeah, but I think it's 100. You can't turn your nose up at that. You can't. Like, you're Brighton. Like, again, that's what I mean. Man United couldn't turn their nose up at that. Like, you need that money. Like, you need it. So, crazy talk. But
it is crazy talk. Let's quickly go to the comment section. It will take 1 year until he's realised that he's been sent on WhatsApp. Out of me. Seems strange to be left like that. There's no 10 million release clause now. I think he already has another job. He says he's not got a job lined up.
No, he's lying. This is 100% Russ. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. He's gone to the board and said, "I've done this for you. Like, no one's going to pay 10 mil for me. Can we part ways? You know what I mean? I won't. You don't have to pay me off. No one's got to pay you off for me, sort of thing." That's 100% where I'm at.
All the managers that turned down Bayern Munich is unbelievable. They've got to feel sorry for Harry Kane.
They know he's cursed. They know he's cursed. They don't want it. You know?
God, surely Harry Kane's got to win a trophy next season. I was going to do the team of the season, but we'll do that next week in line with the rest of the season, the players of the season as well. We've got the results on that. But one more thing, Chelsea finishing 6th, a good run to the end of the season. Do you think that a team that should be watched next season, a team that took time with Pochettino, and that's his thing. He takes time. Do you feel like it's gelled?
Not quite gelled yet, but it's definitely they should not sack Pochettino. They should keep him. He's got a nice young team there, and this is obviously what they were hoping for. That this team of young ballers is going to gel and become a force for many years. So yeah, definitely look out for them next year. I mean, I said that let's look out for them this year, didn't I? If you remember,
yeah,
I
thought they would be a team that would push for that top 4, 5th position.
And let's face it, the form that they've got now shows that they could be. Cole Palmer, what a player they've got on their hands there. So yeah, 100% watch out for them next year. And this is what we were saying about Spurs, weren't it? Don't expect to get in the Champions League next year. Just don't expect it, because you've got hopefully Man United coming back looking at it. You've got Newcastle looking at it. You've got Villa now looking at it. And you're going to have a very strong Chelsea team looking at it as well, especially as they're going to spend another 200 million in the summer. So
yeah, I agree. I fully agree as well. That is all we have time for tonight. Thank you very much for everyone in the comment section. We've had Galvo, we've had Russ, we've had Simon. Thank you very much. The comments are quality. Keep them coming. Regulars every week. We appreciate your support. If you are new to the show, press that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, press that like, press that share. It all counts. We will be going to more transfers going forward. We're going to do the team of the year. We're going to do transfers. Garth will be on. Steve will be on. Be giving you the latest transfer news. Arsenal transfer news out at the moment is they will be looking for a striker. Benjamin Sesko is one of the players that they're looking at. Also, Victor Gyökeres is another player that Arsenal are very, very interested in. Zerki is a player they've looked at, but not one that looks like they're going to sort of approach. But it's Benjamin Sesko with his release clause. And I think the fact that he's gone a little bit quiet in terms of he was hot property a couple of seasons ago. It's gone a little bit quiet. I think it may be time to sort of to activate that and sort of poach because it's all well and good going for a player who's on the hype, but you're paying big money then. Players like Evan Ferguson, again, it's probably better that you go for him maybe now that it's gone a bit quiet on him. I mean, and he's been getting second string appearances over behind Welbeck and Pedro. It's maybe time to strike. You don't want to be doing that next season when he hits 15 goals in 15 games and you've got to pay an inflated fee on him. So, yeah, Benjamin Sesko is one that Arsenal are looking at and very interested, and Victor Gyökeres. So definitely look out for that. 2 stories which Steve broke a good few months ago and have now started to come out on some of the big tabloids. What's he say? I bet Palace wish they had changed managers sooner. They'd have been in Europe. He's Oliver Glasner. He's doing a very good job. He's doing a very good job. You're a good combination, lads. Fair play, good show. Thank you very much, Galvo.
Cheers, Galvo.
Don't worry, we'll be here next week. We will be here next week. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Garth.
Pleasure as always, mate.
All right. Same as always. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the Arsenal show, where Steve will be back, drowning his sorrows about.
He's been drowning his sorrows for 3 days now, 2 days now, mate.
Yeah, I know.
He's going to have a Caproni in his hand.
Yeah.
Full beard.
Full beard. After one day. Castaway style. Talking to a football. Because it's the only thing that will listen to him while he's away with the missus. 3 charges.
115 Wilson. You know, dirty cheats Wilson. You know I love you, Steve.
All right. Yeah, thank you for joining us, people. I'm sure Steve's watching anyway. He's going to love that one. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.